handles back. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you guys for joining me today with Manifesting with Ari Mack. Hey, hey. Well, it is Thursday, January 22nd. Can you believe we're already ending January for 2026? This is like, wow, this is just woo, going by fast. Now, today's theme is Aquarius shift upon us. Okay. We just had another shift. See, astrology is like a dial. Okay. And each one of those dials kind of give us a theme of what we need to work on for humanities, for ourselves, for the world around us. And with the shift in astrology going into Aquarius, Aquarius rules humanitarian, rebel, sudden changes, technology. They rule the unexpected, but they're also big, big, big on progressive thinking. So it's a combination with what Aquarius can do. Now, I'm going to give you some suggestions on how to manifest what you're seeking, but you got to have to listen and you got to like and you got to share this because part of the humanitarian mission is to create a better environment for our communities and the people around us. Okay. So when you're manifesting, especially right now, what we have like um, Sun and Mercury, this is who we are and how we think, both in Aquarius right now. Then you got Venus and Mars both in Capricorn. Okay. Then you got Jupiter in Cancer, Uranus in Taurus. Now, Uranus normally rules Aquarius. So it being in Taurus, I'm going to talk to that a little later in the show because that's very significant. Okay. Because Uranus rules Aquarius. And then we have Saturn and Neptune both in Pisces. Okay. And then Pluto, now that planet that's hidden behind the scenes, okay, rules Scorpio, it's an Aquarius. So when you look at that Aquarius energy, okay, and let me know if I have any Aquariuses out there. Definitely hit the bottom of the chat. Let me know if there's any Aquariuses because I'm gonna say happy birthday to all of them. Officially, the sun right now is an Aquarius. I want to say happy birthday to one of my oldest friends. Literally, our parents were pregnant at the same time, Miss Stephanie Renee Gale. Mwah, wherever you are, mwah, mwah, I wish you nothing but the best. And I hope this year is the best of your life. And we will definitely talk and do something a little bit later. Okay. So when we're looking at this energy and you're trying to do manifestation, you got to be careful here because Aquarius is also an air sign. All right. So it's ruled by air. That's why we don't see it. Think of electricity. When the planet Uranus, which rules Aquarius, was discovered, electricity was discovered. That is not an accident. That is not a coincidence. That's divine design. Okay. And because of that discovery, we have electricity, we have light at night, we have communication abilities. I mean, the plethora of what electricity has done for humanities is intense, incredible, and over the top. Now, you take that Aquarius energy and you add that rebellious humanitarian energy. Because the one thing about Aquarius is they will not be controlled. It's a fixed air sign. Of the trilogy, it's the only one that's fixed. Okay. So when you're talking about a fixed sign, it's hard for them to make changes once they've set their course. Now, with Uranus being in Taurus and then Pluto being in Aquarius, that's the fixed trilogy. You got Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. So of the four fixed signs, three of them are above the heavens. Hey guys, thanks for joining me on TikTok. Appreciate it. Okay. Now, what this means, guys, is the changes we're going through right now on a humanitarian level. This ain't no joke. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is real time. Okay. And you can tell because everybody's recording, everybody's uploading, and everybody's sharing. But with Uranus being in Taurus, we're going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking about material gains. We're going to be talking about how we actually value ourselves. So if you're in the process of trying to manifest or you think that you have a goal or purpose, this energy right now is going to show you a lot more about yourself because Aquarius is also truth seeking. Even if it hurts, even if it's terrible, they rather know the truth and move through it than to act like something's not happening and then live in denial. You know, that river in Egypt made you laugh. So when you're trying to manifest in this particular type of energy, you have to really think about what's going on in your mouth and what's going on in your heart. Because see, when we're dealing with such an internal ruler, you're going to have a lot of anxiety as you go forth and push out your will, like what you want to do, as opposed to what society wants you to do. Now, I'm not telling you to go start fires or break into anything and destroy people's stuff. What I'm suggesting is that you spend some time writing down, get a pen and a piece of paper, what your objective is. Like, what is your goal? What is it that you're trying to allow to manifest in your life? Because this is really important for purpose. Okay. And when we're talking prosperity, we're talking about monies and materials gains. Uranus is going to be sitting in Taurus for quite some time. So just expect a lot of unorthodox ways of things manifesting. Now, particularly for my earth signs, that's my Virgo, my Capricorn, and my Tauruses, you guys don't like this energy because it makes you feel unsettled. It just, earth is just what it is. It's earth. It likes grounding, it likes practicality, it likes to know what's going to happen next. And in particular with my Tauruses, you're not going to have that ability to have that heads up. Okay. Hey, London, thanks for joining on the Tiki Taki page. They're not going to sit there and go, well, on Tuesday, we're going to do this at 8 o'clock. And then on Wednesday, we're going to do this. That's not how this energy works. It's not how this energy works. So for my Tauruses in particular, I need you not to be too hard on yourselves as things kind of go a little differently than you anticipate. I really need you to take care of your body because with that Uranus energy, you're going to want to push and you're going to want to do things because you're free will. But if you get the sign that things are not working, I'm going to ask you, sweet Taurus, to take that note. And the same thing with my Aquariuses. It's not that the universe is penalizing you, but they need you to be more grounded. Yeah. They need you to be more focused. And the other unusual thing going on in Aquarius with this energy is with Pluto being in Aquarius. That's all our hidden stuff coming up, you guys. And you can look in the news and see what's happening. But here's the beautiful part about the Aquarius energy. They will validate it. They will give you not only their opinion, but supporting facts to support whether or not you agree with their point of view. And I have to tell you, it's pretty interesting. Now, I attract a lot of Aquarius energy. Okay. And for me, I find them to be very refreshing because there's really not a lot of BS in their game. They're pretty direct. They will tell you straight out if they like something, if they don't like something, if they want to do something, if they don't want to do something. And that's really important because as you get older, or let's just say more mature, you're going to have less and less skin for people that are not showing you the same thing in return. I'm going to say that again. As you mature, I'm not even going to put older into it because it's just a maturity thing. When you get to a certain point in your evolution, you're just not going to want to tolerate people who do not respect you and do not treat you well, especially if you have to work with them. Okay, because that's one of the toughest parts is to be in a situation where you need the job or you need the money and you're dealing with someone who you would not in any way shape or form ever deal with in your personal life. And that's a tough one. That is the real tough one. So for my Tauruses, you're especially going to be feeling my Aquarius, I think because you're already going out on a limb and feeling that you're going to be unconventional anyway, this may amplify your need for the securities behind it, especially the emotional securities. Because I'm going to speak to people as a whole right now. Mercury is also in Aquarius, and Mercury is how we think, it's how we process information. And right now we are looking at the bigger picture of how we live as a community, how we get along. Now, I believe the spiritual body, if it's fed, everything else will fall into place because when you are empty, when your consciousness cannot think of anything positive, you are a spiritual bankrupt creature. I'm going to say it again. You will be a spiritually bankrupt creature. And eventually that bankruptcy, that gnawing at your soul takes a toll on your well-being. That's when you see people get dark. They see their energy just get shaded because they're believing now that nothing's going to change. Therefore, they stop making any effort for it to change. Think about that. If your belief system is so stuck in what was or what you were taught or what somebody said, and even principles that you learned in your spiritual journey, then how are you going to grow? How are you going to receive new data and be able to process it so that you can be on your life's purpose? See, the universe gave you a particular set of energies, and you can choose any way, shape, or form how you want to use it. When I look at a chart in astrology, I see what the person's purpose is, I see what they would like to do, and then I see choice. And that's free will. That's how free will works. It gives you choice. Now, making choices can be exasperating and frustrating and has a lot of anxiety to it because, once again, you're deciding a direction. But wouldn't it be better for you to decide the direction and move in that force or have it shoved upon you and then you're just stuck? Which would be the better choice? Now, for me, I prefer to have the flexibility. So I listen to the signs. And it all begins with your affirmation. What is coming out of your mouth on a day to day basis? Are you positive thinking or are you negative thinking? Are you looking for stuff to fall apart or are you striving toward things getting better? Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? This is what you have to ask. And during this next 4 weeks, because Uranus is going to be pretty much having a heavy influence on us for the next 4 weeks. And it just happens to be Black History Month and Valentine's and President's Day and a short ass month, all in one bundle. It's like quite mind boggling, right? And birthdays to boot and all that fun stuff. So I asked you, what are you affirming to? Do you have a positive prayer, meditation, something you do on a regular basis? Now, we here at Candles by Ari, I created products and fragrances and classes and services to help guide you through these programs. I've helped hundreds of people, hundreds, if not thousands. I'm very modest. Achieve their goal, okay? Attain what they feel is their life purpose. Because with purpose, you guys, anything is possible. Anything. You could be dirt ass poor, not have anything, a pot, a window to throw it out of. But if you have belief in yourself and belief in the people working with you, that magic. I think about Jesus with the fishes, the loaves, and the fish. I don't know if you know the story. I'll give you the abbreviated version. Thank you for the love. Appreciate it. Chicken Little. That's so cute. I like that name. When Jesus woke up and the fishermen were starving, okay, this is one of the reasons why spirituality has the Pisces symbol. They were starving, you guys, and they only had a few loaves and a few fish. And they were like, oh my goodness, it's not enough food. We're going to starve to death. Oh my goodness. And Jesus woke up and said, go forth. It's plenty for all. And he served them. He served them. But you know what he served them? I love this. I love this. Small bites. He gave them enough to sustain them. And if they wanted more, they could come back. But he made sure everybody got something. And you know what happens when you share your good with those who also shared their good? You create this halo around yourself that is like magical. It is like magical. Thank you, Chicken Little. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And thank you, you too. Appreciate you sending me some love as well. But when you get that step in, guys, that step of a positive affirmation when you wake up, the step of smelling something nice to soothe your soul, the step of understanding where you're at today in the astrology column. Now, we got a lot of Aquarius coming down. So, for all signs, there's going to be a lot of unusual changes, probably when you least expect. You know, you think you're going to go one way and then it'll pull you off into another direction. Now, this is not a bad thing if you can flow with it, especially if you're making an effort. One of the things I see all the time is when people really, really work hard on one particular thing and their minds are completely like, that's it, that's the thing, that's what I'm going to do. And then things start changing and it doesn't quite work out the way that they planned. And they get so discouraged and so angry. Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're ever going to be an entrepreneur, if you're ever going to, get where you need to be, maybe the point is not to give all but small bites. Exactly, Chicken Little, the small bites, the small bites. Because if you're going to get to where you're going to get to, you're going to fail along the way. Hear me when I say this. There will be mistakes made. There'll be things that you've never experienced before, so you may not make the most awesome choices. You may make a poor choice, but that's a part of the journey. That's a part of what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to go forth and make a conscious effort and learn from that mistake. It's like a scientist, guys. Oh, and by the way, Aquarius does rule science. Just for the record, they also rule the science rule as well. Okay? Because energy begots energy. So when you start looking at what is my objective here? What is my plan? What am I trying to do? And the big thing that I want you to remember is when you're doing the small steps, don't discount them. One of the things I do with my clients is I make sure they know that if they even touch the wall, okay, I had a client who's been having some weight issues for many, many, many moons, like most of her life. And now she's just getting into the habit of making better food choices. Now, I'm not saying she hasn't done it before. She's lost a ton of weight and gained it and lost it. But the choices always went back to her lifestyle, right? And we talked through it and talked through it. So finally, she came to understand that she can go to all the Weight Watchers counseling. She can go get that G1 shots, all that stuff. But when all that stuff settled, she would still have to go back to whatever her natural habits are. So if she wasn't going to change the habit, which is a big step, then the money would go and she'd lose weight and then she'd be back where she started. Okay. And she finally got that it's not an awful thing to change one or two things in her eating diet. Now, I made the suggestion to just drop cheese on her burger because that's 200 calories, like straight out. Well, just that step alone, and she just said, okay, that's what I'll do. I'll just drop cheese from my burgers because she liked the double with the double cheese, the whole nine, and it's delicious. It is delicious, but it's not delicious to wear on your hips, you see, because your hips don't lie. So she decided to drop the cheese for a week. Gotta get my water in. She lost a half a pound. Now, she didn't change any of the other dietary stuff. She didn't go crazy exercising. She just stopped putting cheese on her burgers, which I guess she had quite a bit every week, because just seeing a half a pound weight loss from doing one little step inspired her. Inspired her. So she took another step and another step and on and so forth. But because she got the instant gratification of knowing that not only did she take the step, but she saw something significant come from that step. I mean, I know half a pound doesn't sound like a big deal, but you add that up over a period of time, that's a solid 10 or 15 pounds that's gone. That's not coming back because she's changed the eating habits that incurred the weight. Do you guys feel me? Give me a yes or no. Tap the screen. Am I making sense? Do you understand? So you have to decide your baby steps every day for manifestation to take place. And that starts off, in my opinion, with an affirmation. Affirmation, you guys, with some aromatherapy. Add some meditation, definitely having people of positive vibrational energy in your inner circle. I'm going to say that again. You have to have people of positive vibrational energy in your inner circle. Because if you have a serpent within your midst, no matter what you do, no matter how good you are, no matter how much energy you put out, there will always be that one person that tells you, you're just not good enough. It's not quite you. Or you really shouldn't do that. And that disingenuous behavior is contradictory because you're wanting them to be your friend. You wanting them to support you. You want them to show you the same love that you put out to them. And that is one of the toughest lessons is when you realize their alignment is not with yours. They can still be your friend. You can still hang out with them. You can still, do your due, but you can't rely on them for that emotional support that you need while you're manifesting. Now, I know that sounds really harsh to have friends and acquaintances and you can't share certain things with them, but think of it this way. It is better for you to put people in check. Everyone's positive feedback. Yeah. And you keep the people who are constructive, who are giving you advice, who are supportive and show up. They show up for you. They see something improving in your life and they congratulate you on it. They see the effort that you're making to get out of mental hell or emotional, stress and distress, especially when you're dealing with matters of the heart. Because when people can't see, you know what I mean? They can't see your pain. They can only feel it and they know something's not right, but they can't put their fingers on it. Hey, real chap, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. So I asked you right now as we go through this Aquarius energy at the very beginning. And remember, we still have the Capricorn sprinkled on top of us because what we got Venus and Mars both in Capricorn, which are very structured signs. Venus rules love, Mars rules how we act in love. Being in Capricorn, we want actions that add up to something. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if you're feeling me, if this is making sense, if this is resonating with you. Okay, because this is important for your own mental and spiritual well being so that you not only survive, but you thrive. You can walk into a room and feel comfortable in your own skin. And I'll give you another example because this Aquarius energy is going to reveal. It's going to be revealing, but you got to pay attention. One of my dear friends is a singer, and she lives in another state, so I only talk to her over the phone. Her teacher, who she's been doing vocal coach with for 6 months, always have something derogatory to speak to her about. Just something in her voice needs to change. Something in the way she dresses needs to change. There's always something that my friend needs to change about herself. So I recently went to one of their online showcases through Zoom and YouTube and all that good stuff. And my friend was singing a little differently, like hesitating on certain notes and just being more deliberate on others. And she just sounded uncomfortable to me. So I asked her afterwards, hey, what's going on? I mean, because I've been with her long enough to know what her vocals training is at the style and the level. And just recently, this week, she told me that her current teacher has basically said she doesn't feel like she has the talent. Now, you know how much that hurts? You've been with someone as thinking they're mentoring you and you're putting time in on their energy and you're trying to work with them and they tell you you don't have it. I'm sorry, but it's just not your style. And so I asked my colleague, do you believe that you don't have it? Because the question is not whether or not the teacher believes it. The question is do you believe it? And I saw the light bulb go off in her head. I said, because you can't expect someone else to believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. If you're not willing to put your skin into the game, that means you stand up for what you believe in. You do the work that you know you're good at. You put forth the time and energy to become an expert in what you like to do. No one's telling you to do this. This is a conscious decision on your part because you want to grow. You want to learn. You want to improve. You want to get better. And the only way those things happen, you guys, is through due diligence and taking these baby steps every single day to support your dream, to support your destiny and purpose. Now, over this next 3 to 4 weeks, you're going to have opportunities to show where your purpose lies. And there's going to be a lot of humanitarian things going on because, as we know, the world is changing. And I think it's changing for the positive because we have the evidence now. I love the fact everything's being recorded. I love it because it will not be someone writing a history and telling you what it was. It'll be what you actually can witness yourself. And you can run this test. Go on any of the browsers and type up any of the days and see all of the feeds that come through for that day. It is amazing. I think it was like over 2 trillion or something like that of people uploading internationally on a regular basis from different perspectives. So you can see how somebody's living, like, I don't know, in Alaska and somebody that's living in Ecuador. Okay. Because we forget, because we're literally, I don't think I'm saying that word right, but we are literally in one time zone. But there's several other time zones around us that we're aware of, Now, I personally think there's a lot of dimensions of energy because I can see it. I can't always put my finger on it, but I can tell when I'm having a deja vu or I feel like I've done something before. I believe in reincarnation. So I believe that we all have a message that we're supposed to either individually or collectively work towards. And that's real important because when you have that kind of purpose, it gives you a sense of being. Now, people do get that from becoming parents, uh, graduating from their schools, and meeting their own personal expectation. But when it gets into the financial aspects, and since Uranus is in Taurus on this is an opportunity for you to figure out what your value really, really looks like in what area, because a job is a job, guys. Okay. A career is a passion. A career is a like a lover. It gets better and better with time. Or at least that's what my lovers do. Because the more familiar you are with someone, the more comfortable you are with someone, the more you know what they enjoy and like. And that's what careers do. That's what people that have passion do, people that step outside the box. And I'll give you another example. Once upon a time, when a chef cooked, first of all, there was more male chefs than female chefs. And ironically, everybody's mother does the cooking at home. I thought that was funny. And chefs were considered like elite, but only if you were at restaurants that had that upper crust. Well, now, because we have channels dedicated to just food, literally have a food network, you could be a superstar because you've learned how to a particular cuisine affects you and how you brought that to people's ideas. I mean, I know for me, I've actually been cooking more Chinese food than ever before because during that period when we were on lockdown, I got tired of ordering Chinese food. So I followed a gentleman on YouTube, didn't even speak English, and I got collected everything he told me to collect. And I followed his instructions. It's like the YouTube was right there while I was cooking. And it came out pretty goddamn good. Like I was surprised. I make a mean egg drop soup. And don't get me started on my sweet and sour chicken. I with the sauce. But I learned, you guys. I had never cooked Chinese food in my life. I loved eating it and I love going to Chinese restaurants to get the little cookie and all that stuff. But during that lockdown process, I was paying like 60, $70 just to have it delivered. Because it's not just me, but my daughter and my family and my friends that would stop by. Plus, with Chinese food, you need extra because you're going to get hungry later. All right. So I decided to take it upon myself to learn that skill. Now it's almost secondhand. If I want something, I just make sure I have all the ingredients on hand. And it's the same thing with prayers and manifestation. If you want something, you got to make sure you have everything on hand for you to manifest. Now, money is a major priority, but it's not the only priority. And money itself is a tool. It's a tool. How we use it, how we collect it, that's the passion. That's where the manifestation takes place. So here's a few suggestions. Of course, take care of your job. Make sure you are doing the very best job that you can. But I would ask you to be honest with yourself and spend a few moments just thinking about what your passions are. What really, really makes you shine? What area do you want to see improvements on, not only economically, but would bring a personal satisfaction to you? Something that would calm you down, something that would make you feel good at the end of the day. This is why we have hobbies, so we can self explore. I want to go into sculpting with my hands because I'm finding the candle business, which, guys, thank you very much for all your support. And definitely take a look at the candles by Ara. We have the candle of the month, which is the pink love candle. So check that out. But it's more a labor of love that I'm not going to say mastered, but I'm very, very, very comfortable with. So I need a new stimulation. So I'm thinking clay, pottery, that kind of thing. So I'm playing with some things. Now, I started off with Play Doh. When you're talking about baby steps, I started off using Play Doh because it's inexpensive. I can do what I want to with it. If it dries out, who gives a hoot? But it's very therapeutic. It's very relaxing because it's working out that energy and keeping my mind from, skedaddling in many different directions. And it creates calmness. Now, my affirmation always is my health, my wealth, my love, and my perfect self expression. Those are the square roots of life. Okay. Meditation has to be a part of that because when you're doing your affirmation, it should be like a prayer so that you can accept receiving the energy you're asking for, receiving it, not just talking about it, not just saying, oh, I would love to, but actually manifesting. And that's where the patience comes in because you got to find your niche. You got to find that area that you thrive in. and that people can feel your value. And it's a balanced value. One of the sad stories is my daughter's in the music business. And some of the things that she's found out about it is some of the contracts that have been set up, and this has been going on for quite some time, are set up to deceive the artist because the artist is still young or still new and doesn't know their value yet. They have a passion for it and they think they could do very well with it, but there's no proof because remember, it's coming from their souls. So she was talking to me about this thing called 360 contracts that all record labels try to impose on their new artists. Please don't ever sign that. If anybody here is an artist, anybody here that wants to go into any kind of singing, anything, do not sign a 360 contract ever. Because basically, that contract states that for the rest of your existence, you have to give them a portion of whatever you do. Meaning, if you perform your song live, if you do a charity event, anything you do, they get financially compensated for it. And most artists don't know that. We don't think that way. We think we sign a contract that'll end. No. In that particular contract, it goes on infinity. But most artists wouldn't get that. And sometimes folks don't even know what it is. I mean, you could even go to a lawyer. I mean, I suggest an entertainment lawyer, particularly one in the field that you're interested in, if you do need to go that way, because it's very easy to get caught up in the excitement, okay, of the potential of being heard and supported. And Prince was a great example of that. He signed a contract at 18 years of age with Warner Brothers. And Prince was a musical genius, you guys. He wrote and performed and played, I don't know, 20 different instruments. The man was a genius, but he was 18 years old and by himself when he signed that deal. Eventually, it took a toll on him because he had to give up a portion of the project that he literally birthed, which was the Purple Rain movie and the Purple Rain album. He ended up having given 1/4 of that to Warner Brothers permanently, because of the contract that he signed. Now, I know he had to take medications for that. I know for a fact that he lost his mind on that because I remember that period when he was going to court. He wrote slave on his face. He changed his name, everything. That man was having a complete freaking breakdown. I think he's a Gemini. He got through it. He got through it, but it took a toll on his soul. It took a toll on his soul. But you know what he did? This is one of those things that you don't know how you're affecting people until you affect them. He did such a good job with fighting legally with the way the music business was being ran that he set a new standard, you guys. He set a new standard where artists now have the voice to go directly to distributing their own material without having to go through a bunch of bullshit with the labels. I mean, he literally gave permission for the artists to make money on their art and not have to share it with everybody. Now, I'm not going to say it still doesn't exist because predatory stuff is available. That's why you got to use your spiritual compass, right? To know if it looks like a duck, it smells like a duck. Most likely it's a goddamn duck. Yeah. Yeah. But you got to not say, oh, no, I don't want it to be a duck. I want it to be better. And that's the hard part because we always want everything to be better. We want everybody to be good and we want everybody to be on the same page. And that sounds cool, fine, and great. But that's not also reality when we're dealing with competitive natures and responsibilities and accountabilities. Now, at Candles by Ari, which I looked at it, I started my company in 1999. My company's 27 years old as of this month. I'm amazed by that. I'm amazed. I'm proud. I'm who'd have thunk it? This was not the dream. Wow, 27 years in the game. And I have to tell you, every step of the way, I've learned more than I ever imagined. Yes, I went to school for certain things, but there's things that the school could not teach that you just have to learn as you go. So as we go into this Aquarius energy, I want you to know that you're empowered by the change, not freaked out by it, if that makes any sense. Embrace the things that you don't like. Not saying you have to say you love them, but come to understand if spirit has put them in front of you, ask yourself why. And if you really can't come up with a reason and there is no reason for you to put up with the energy, disconnect. Just disconnect. Give it to spirit. Just keep giving it away and say your affirmations over and over and over again. Make that your mantra because I'm going to tell you, Your affirmation, that power in your word is going out to the universe and it comes back to you. Literally, your prayers, your affirmations, your meditations, they all are connecting you on an individual level, individually, with the divine energy around you. Mhm. And the more you tune into it, the more you make a conscious effort to be a part of that energy, the sky is your limit, literally. Nothing can hold you down. Now, here at Manifesting with Ari Mack, we're all about manifesting, all about it. No one in my inner circle has stayed where they are. Every single person that's been with me for all these many years have seen progression in their immediate circles. Now, I'm not going to say get rich quick scheme overnight, but they work so diligently on them baby steps that when they get to the major step, it's like, yeah, because they laid the foundation correct. And you can do it as well. Please check out my website, candlesbyari.com. Now, I teach meditation class. It's actually a guided mindful meditation. And we have them twice a month. And in this meditation, I guide you through your subconscious mind into your super subconscious mind. Now, that's where all the energy lies. That's where you're unconscious of how you brush your teeth or the clothes that you put on or how you drive the car. Those are super subconscious mechanisms that are embedded in us because we use them. We say them over and over and over again to become true. Okay. And then we allow that to be natural. I mean, you don't get in a car and start going, what do I do? No, you get in the car, you open the car with the key, you sit in the driver's seat, you make the adjustments, you put the key in the ignition, and you put your feet together so that you can drive it. Somebody had to teach you that. You didn't just jump in a car and start driving around, did you? I mean, I'm from Texas. They kind of like let you learn that way, but I digress. Bottom line, you took the necessary baby steps to gain the confidence, right? So that you can actually drive anytime you want, play how you want to play, get your license, move around, rent a car. All these things came from your base understanding of how to actually operate a vehicle. Well, it's the same thing with affirmations, and that's where I'm the expert. That's where I look at what you are saying, what you're doing, and your zodiac chart, because your birth chart tells me what's up. Because some lessons are harder than others simply because you have to change your mode of operation, your MO. And you may have been used to doing things a certain way your whole life. I can't even tell you how many times. If I got $1 for every time someone said, well, that's not how we do it, or that's not how I do it, I'm like, okay. Because I'm not making you change. If you're coming to me, if you're following me, if you want my assistance, then you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to open up. You have to be willing to participate in those, oh, let's just say coincidences. Now, for the air trilogy right now, that's my Libra, my Gemini, my Aquarius. You guys are going to be getting inundated. You may have a lot more anxiety because literally you're being forced to deal with the financial aspect, like the physical aspects of life, because of all that Earth being in the air trilogy. Okay, especially with that Taurus energy because it requires you to stay on task. Okay, that's for all of my air signs. Now, for my water signs, that's my Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancers. You still got a lot of pull because Jupiter's in Cancer, it's retrograding, and Saturn and Neptune are both in Pisces, which, hey, I ain't mad at it because Neptune is Pisces' natural positioning. But it is going to make you have to discipline your spiritual approach. So, for my water signs, if you're doing your prayers and you're doing your meditations, then make sure you're doing it with reverence, reverence, reverence every single day. Now, I suggest trying to be consistent either in the morning when you get up or in the evening before you go to sleep. I pray all the time. I'm praying for the world, myself, my peace of mind, my spirit. I pray for parking spaces. Okay. And I got to tell you, it works. All right. So you have to get into that format. Okay. Water. Because once you get that discipline, your world is just going to get easier and easier. Now, from my earth signs, Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo, it's real important that you be open to the shifts. Just be open because they're not going to be necessarily anything that you can direct as much as you can be a part of, which means your presence is needed, but your opinion may not be. I hope you don't get insulted by that. But a lot of people may need you to do stuff, but they don't want to talk to you. They just want you to do what they ask. Hey, if it doesn't bother you and it's within a respectable scope, go for it. Okay. Now, for my fire, that's my Leos, my Aries, and my Sagittariuses. This is the time for you to get real practical. Yeah, because you got nothing but earth and water around you right now. So your emotional energy is one like almost like a roller coaster fire because you want to do something, but you got to slow down and make it happen. You have some ideas, but you got to slow down and write them out. I mean, that's kind of the way you're going to be feeling. That is the way you're going to be feeling because the universe is asking you to think through your decisions. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It will happen, fire, especially for your Leos. Leos right now being asked to stand up and clearly define what is it that I need, want, and desire. What is my purpose? What am I trying to get at? And the Cosmo will tell you. They will tell you. Now, I created a program called The Gap, the Guided Astrology Program. Okay. Now, this program gives you once a week a monthly update, or excuse me, a weekly update of everything that's going on with your sign from the element, which is earth, water, fire, air, and the zodiac sign, which is all 12 of them. You put that together, you got your weekly insight. You got your weekly update. Okay. And now, along with that, we're going to be starting something called the accountability sessions. Now, the accountability sessions, which you can check it out on the website, are specifically for individuals who really want that step-by-step weekly one-on-one to understand where they're at and what they're doing. It is not to torture you. It is not to try to drive you crazy. It's actually to let you hear and understand this is what you're saying and this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. This is what you're saying. Now, these don't have to be bad things as long as they sync up. And that's why accountability is so important. Writing down your thoughts, writing down what your needs are, being clear about what direction you're trying to take yourself and others in. See, this is going to breed a lot of confidence for you. It's going to make you feel more secure. And with that, that means, guys, you're going to be a better person to be around because you're not losing your mind. You're not staying in constant agony. You know, you're actually looking forward to new stuff and new ways of doing things, which is always a blessing, is it not? Is it not always a blessing to have opportunities and situations that bring you joy and light? And on the romantic side, this is for all signs. If you are interested in meeting a partner, now I always ask for divinely selected mate because I'm a handful. Okay. And I know I'm a handful because of the energy I deal with and just me being myself. Plus, I have a crew. I'm not just with me, I have family and friends that have been with me for decades that come in along with me. And one of my biggest critics, not critics, but one of my biggest supporters is my daughter. So anybody that comes through me, they have to get through her to be really, really part of the permanent group, if you know what I mean. But for romance, put on an extra, smile. I give you a little tidbit. Vanilla, vanilla extract, the stuff we use when we eat, is a great, almost like an aphrodisiac, because vanilla is a scent we're all accustomed to. All of us. We don't even think about it, right? Now, when you take vanilla, and let's just say you put it behind your ears or on your wrists, rub them together, okay, you're going to attract a certain type of energy because vanilla is something we've all been exposed to from the time we were little ones. Think about it. Your first birthday cake was probably vanilla. 9 times out of 10, unless you had a food allergy, is vanilla. It's one of the most popular scents in the world. So, if you are interested in the romantic aspect, and you don't have to get all perfumed up and you don't have to go crazy with the vanilla, but just take a dash, just a little bit, maybe put it in some oil. You can use whatever oil you like. I like jojoba jojoba, but you can use, tea tree. There's a lot of different, not tea tree, but what is it? Grass. What is it called? Grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil. It's more cooking oil because it burns at a higher temperature. You can go up to 500 and not smoke out. But it's also good for conducting essential oils. So sometimes when I'm making the candles, I will use a dash of grapeseed oil because it extends because it's a molecule. So what happens is the fragrance goes into the oil, and then when you burn the candle, it releases through the burning process. So it's quite fascinating, but that's just me as a candle maker, can't help it. But if you're interested in the romance, this is for boys and girls, doesn't matter who you are. Try my vanilla trick. I think you'll be very, 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 very pleasantly surprised because energy begets energy, guys. And I don't know about you, but I can smell bullshit from a mile away, if you know what I mean. So if you know somebody is not going to be very nice, they're not going to be in a good place, just ask for the white light to be placed around you and just keep it moving. Do not make eye contact because that's a part of baiting you in, is to make you feel like, oh, well, da 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 da, da 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 da. And always verify. Like I'm talking about this Aquarius energy, you guys can go online and look it up yourself. But we have it, it's happening, it's in process, and we ain't gonna let it go, nor can we stop it. So why not be a part of that solution? Why not be a part of your manifestation by making a conscious decision to do better? Starting with that baby step of just watching your mouth. Think about the affirmation you're speaking before you speak it. If you have something derogatory to say, my grandma used to say, if you have nothing nice to say, then just don't say anything. And I took that to heart because that's very important to remember. People hear you, but they don't necessarily know your point of view. So if you say something in a certain way around people you do not know, they may not see it the same way as you. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing. But you don't sit there and square off with them and create more animosity for yourself. What do you gain from that? What do you gain from upsetting everything to the point where nothing gets done? Now, eventually, divine order kicks in. And how divine order kicks in, it just takes one or two little threads and it just shifts it. And next thing you know, everything's changed. Everything's changed. You can't even say anything anymore because literally I have seen where I thought things were going to be going a certain way and that's it. And then one or two things that I did not think about nor try to discover comes along and boom, way beyond my comprehension. Things are better than I ever imagined. But that's because I affirm. I'm going to be doing the day in the life. I'm going to be doing like a 90-second or maybe a 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know. Here on YouTube, you guys like my cooking, so I may be adding more of the cooking with the talking because I see that my viewership goes up. So hey, I don't mind. I just got to get better equipment because I'm still learning and still growing. And my camera dude is in school, so it's hard when the camera dude is not always available. But we'll work it out. Bottom line is we are in Aquarius energy now, guys, and it's in full throttle, and it's going to be going on for the next 3.5 weeks. So think about your affirmation. Think about what your purpose is. Think about what you're trying to say to folks. Are you making sense? Do people hear you? Think about what's happening in your heart. Do you feel good with where you are in life? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel like this is your purpose? If so, then continue on that path and continue to grow. But if you have that restlessness, that I'm not sure, that anxiety, listen to that because that's not to scare you. It's talking to you. It's like the universe saying, hey, maybe we need to remodify or maybe we need to redirect. And this is without retrograde. Mercury retrograde ain't started. I'll let you know about that later. Okay. But for right now, I want you to focus on your affirmation. Now, remember, at Candles by Ari, we have the affirmation on the candle itself. So you don't even have to think. Literally, you don't have to think. You just light the candle, smell, mm, 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 makes you salivate, and burn. And I have to tell you, one of the most beautiful things is when you are at peace. When you finally feel like things are going to work out, everything's going to be all right, because you finally get your mind clear of all the negativity and all the doubt and the resentment, because that doesn't have a place. It serves a purpose, but it does not have a place in your permanent existence. Now, I'm working on my ebook. I'm almost complete. Writing a book is like more difficult than people think because I wanted to make sure you guys knew how I worked as a spiritual life coach. And so I'm very proud of that. And Cross your fingers because we had a couple of glitches in the style because I changed it a couple of times, but it is coming down the pipes. And like I said, this Sunday we will be having meditation class. It's a guided mindful meditation class at 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, all done through Zoom. Okay, you do not speak. Everyone is on mute, and I literally take you into deeper space, inward space, to your super subconscious mind, and we go to work there so you can unbind yourself from unhealthy habits or maybe unhealthy people. Because we all sometimes have people around us that we love and care for that are just not good for us. You know, we love them, we care about them, but sometimes by the time they leave, we feel yucky. So you got to have to learn to protect yourself from that. And that's another show. But right now, with this Aquarius energy and this Piscean stuff and this earthy energy coming down, we're at the mecca of opportunity for growth. The mecca. But it's all in your decisions. It's all in how you feel you're ready to receive and what you're willing to do to open up. So here's my suggestion: check out my products. Grab yourself a set of the candle of the month, which this month is love, because everybody needs it. Come to some of the classes. Mindful meditation is the easiest one to start with because it's online. And if you like, you can also receive a copy of it, but you have to talk to me about it. All right. Look at other videos. I have a huge library on iHeart. Please check that out. That's from my older show. We did 8 years there, and we're blowing up here on YouTube. So please share this post with somebody that you know, like, follow, subscribe. If you have any questions, DM me. Okay, DM me, email me, however you feel comfortable. Hell, you can even call me. If I don't answer, leave a message and I will get back with you. So, Aquarius energy is upon us, guys. And I think it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic. Yes, there's a lot of changes. Yes, there's some rebellious energy. And yes, it's about humanitarian. But you know what? Spirit always wins. The good guys always win, no matter what. There's a scene in The Equalizer. Denzel happens to be one of my favorite all time actors. So, got to give myself some Denzel. And in The Equalizer, there's a scene where he's been hurt, and the doctor asks him, "Are you a good man or are you a bad man?" And that scene almost makes me want to cry because he hesitated, because he said, "I don't know." Now, the doctor said to him later, "I knew you were a good man because you hesitated." While a liar, a demon, will say, "Oh, I'm good," because that's what they do, guys. They say what you want to hear so they can take advantage of you. So just keep that in mind. Okay? Is the glass half full or is the glass half empty? You tell me. Now, we do this once a week, and I'm putting up posts every single day. So look for me on all social medias, from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, you name it. And like and follow, guys. Like I said, this is about networking, bringing this energy together. And I'm your spiritual coach, Miss Ari Mack. And I will see you next week. Stay blessed. Bye. Thank you guys so much.